Hi, I'm Kelly Page, Women's Healthy Living Coach, and today we're getting into our bodies and specifically our hips. Hips can get so tight from all the sitting we do, driving. We also store a lot of emotions in our hips, so they're quite a powerhouse, and sometimes you might feel emotions come up when you're doing hip stretching, so just give yourself time and grace to go through it all if that's what's happening for you. So let's get started. We're gonna do the hip stretching as well as even get into our core a little bit and do some twists, which are super detoxifying. So let's begin in an easy Sukhasana. You can cross your shins, knees on top of feet, hands on your knees, and just feel yourself arrive. Feel your body arrive. Feel your sits bones on the ground. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. And then just start to notice your breath. You can watch it go in through your nose and then out through your nose. You don't need to manipulate or do anything. Just notice long, slow, deep inhales coming into your body. Exhaling through the nose, out of your body. And just paying attention to a couple breaths allows you to slow down a little bit, allows you to arrive in your body. I know for me, it helps me move from my head into my body. I can feel myself on the ground. Just do 2 more inhales and exhales. In through the nose, out through the nose. And after your next exhale, you just spin over onto hands and knees. We'll do a little cat-cow, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And start by inhaling, looking up, releasing the belly down to the ground. Exhaling, chin to chest, doming the upper back. Feel the spread of the shoulders. Inhale, look up. Exhale, chin to chest. Just feel the spine articulating when you do that with the breath in and with the breath out. You can also get into those shoulders. They kind of get hunched over with all of our computer work. So let it feel good. Let the breath get to all of those places that can get a little tight in your body. We'll do one more, looking up. Inhale. And exhale, chin to chest. And then we'll just have a neutral spine. And you're going to raise your right knee up to hip height or as close as you can get. I can't get it to hip height. That's how tight my hips are. But you're going to inhale, lift it up, and then start to circle it back, down, and around. So we're just going to start to do some hip circles. Make sure you're using your breath. We're just bringing attention as well as blood flow to these hip sockets. Because wherever we draw our attention, energy flows. That goes for our thoughts, our hips, everything. So we're just going to wake up this hip socket here. Inhaling, exhaling around. Inhaling, exhaling around. And the next one, we're going to inhale up and exhale. Straighten your back leg and you'll put it down on the ground. You're going to come up with your opposite arm and feel a stretch. You're going to put that right arm up and over your ear and feel the stretch all along the side body, pushing down through the little pinky toe side of the foot, all the way over your ear with your hand and your fingers reaching in opposite directions. Feel a nice stretch. And then on an inhale, we're going to start to do some crunches, knee to elbow. Ready? Inhale. Exhale, crunch, knee to elbow. Inhale, out. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, out. Exhale, crunch. This again is lubricating more of the hip. We're getting into the side body, the core, which helps keep us upright. So important. So a few more. Exhale in, inhale out. exhale in, inhale out. And then you're just gonna drop your back leg and bring yourself upright. And then we're just gonna have a nice stretch. Right hand down the right leg, bending up and over. Feel it all through the side body. This is another area that gets really shortened, so we want to stretch it up. And then we'll go in the opposite direction. You can either put your hand down on the ground, or you can just do a little tick-tock and do like a little wave back and forth, inhaling and exhaling. Let it feel good. We don't spend a lot of time in our bodies really just marveling and stretching and strengthening. So let this feel nice. Let it align with your breath. And the next one, we're just going to go back to hands and knees. Let's do one cat-cow, looking up on an inhale, down on an exhale, spine neutral. And then you're just going to lift your left leg up, hip height, inhaling up, and then just start to circle it. Inhaling up, exhaling back down and around. Again, you're just bringing attention and blood flow to that hip socket. You're rotating it around. This isn't something you do a lot on your own, just sitting there, so let's make sure we keep that mobility going. Always want to stay mobile. Sending the breath as well to the hip socket. Let's do 2 more. Up, back, and around. Up, back, and around. And the next one, your foot's going to go flat. You can bring the other foot out. Your right hand under your shoulder. Your left arm is up. And then we're going to start by just feeling the stretch along the side body. Back foot is down, other arms reaching in opposition. Feel the stretch. Really push down through the hand that's supporting you on the ground, up through the one in the air. And then we're going to start to do those crunches, bringing your elbow to your knee on an exhale. Inhaling out, exhaling knee to elbow. Inhale out, exhale, crunch. Inhale, crunch. Inhale and crunch. Let's do 3 more. And the next one, we're just going to drop down and come up for that T shape. Put your hand down your legs, stretching up and over. Feeling it all through the side body. And then just start to do a little tick-tock back and forth. Energy to all sides of the body. Keep that breath flowing no matter what we're doing. This is all just an opportunity to breathe into new spaces in the body. Even if things get challenging, just you want to keep that breath with you at all times. So back to all fours. Let's do one cat-cow. Inhaling up, exhaling, chin to chest. So now just tuck your toes and you're going to do your first downward dog of the day. Straightening your legs, keeping your arms straight, really gluing all 4 corners of the hand to the ground. Feeling that stretch up through your arms, shoulders down your back, tailbone lifts, heels are behind the toes. And if you want to take some bends in the knee, feel free to do that. That's also another way you can get into your hips. Let it feel good. I know for me, I can get into my low back this way as well. So take a few things on your own, letting it feel good, making sure you're breathing. And then with the next inhale, you're just going to start to walk your hands back to your feet. You're going to bring your feet together at the back of your mat. Actually, let's keep them apart and then just drape over your knees. If you want to put a generous bend in your legs, I like to keep my body right on top of my knees to really feel a good stretch to the low back. You keep your hands down. You can also just cross your arms. Play with the weight distribution between your heels. You don't want to be too far on your toes, but just see how it gets into different parts of the back and the body. I can also feel this in my hips. And then with your feet hip width apart, put your left hand down in the middle and then right arm up. Left leg bends as well. And feel that get into the outside of your right hip. Arm reaches up. Pull that right hip back. Feel the stretch through the outer hip. And breathe. On an inhale, you're going to drop your right hand down between your legs. Left arm goes up. Right knee bends. Left hip pulls back. Breathe up. Feel how it really gets into your outer hip. And don't be afraid to move a little. If you're not feeling it in a certain position, play with your body weight back and forward. You still want to keep your weight pretty well distributed between your feet. Probably a little more towards your heels. And then you bring both hands down. Now bring your feet together and slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. You're going to inhale, bring your arms over your head. Exhale, hands to heart center. From here, we're going to do Utkatasana. You're going to bend your knees, hands reach up and over your head. You really want to keep your weight in your heels here. And then inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, left elbow outside your right knee. Twist. You want to try and keep your hips as level as possible. Knees over toes. And twist. Inhale, creating length in the body. Exhale is where you can create space for the twist. Inhale, length. Exhale, twist. Really work on keeping those hips as straight as you can. Side by side, not one up or down. It's where you'll really feel the twist. You'll feel the stretching. Inhale. Reach the arms up. Exhale, other side. Right elbow outside the left knee. Pulling the left hip back. Knees tracking over the toes. You're inhaling, lengthen the spine. Exhaling, twisting through the torso. Inhale, length. Exhale, twist. Next inhale, you just bend forward. Straighten your legs. Hang for a second. And then you'll walk out to plank. Hands under shoulders. If you need more support, you can put your knees down. Otherwise, you're on your toes. And then you're just going to start to alternate. Right knee to right elbow. Left knee, left elbow. And then just back and forth. Again, just getting into the hips. Also activating the core. Let's do 2 more each side. 1 and 2. And then we'll just flip back to downward dog. Arms straight, legs straight. Lengthening through the spine. Long, slow, deep breaths in and out of the nose. On your next inhale, you'll lift your right leg up and then turn your hip open. Bend your knee. You can do little hip circles here. Taking a few in one direction and then going in the opposite direction. You can straighten it and then bring your hips parallel to the ground again And then swing your right leg through. Right foot comes between the hands, left knee down for kneeling crescent. And then you're just gonna reach up. Really lift up through the pelvic floor so you're not collapsing down into the joints. You're gonna lift up through the arms. Feel the strength, the stretch through your left hip flexor. Really pushing down through the right foot. Elongating up. Back foot is flat on the ground. And then inhale, hands to heart center. And then we're going to twist again. Left elbow outside the right knee. We've done this before in a few positions. Should be a little bit easier now. Might have a little bit more fluid going. Same idea here. Pull the right hip back. Inhale creates length. Exhale helps you to twist a little bit further. Inhale, length. Exhale, twist. Take a few more breaths on your own. And you'll put your hands on either side of your front foot and straighten that right leg. Just feel the stretch. You might want to go back and forth a few times, bending, stretching, straightening, bending. And hold the right leg straight, pulling the right hip back for a good stretch. And then bending again, and just bringing your right leg around and going into downward dog. Do the same on the left, lifting the left leg up, turning out the hip, bending the knee. You can start with little circles, little hip circles. Do them one way, and then reverse. Try to keep your shoulders square to the mat. And then leg goes straight back, hip square to the mat. Left foot comes through between your hands, right knee down. And you're gonna lift up. Again, engaging that pelvic floor to lift up. Arms are up. Knees tracking directly over your foot. Back foot is flat. And breathe. Really feel it in the front hip flexor. Arms straight up. And can you find a little space in this somewhat challenging pose? Can you allow your breath to find a little relaxation, a little rest? On the next inhale, hands come to heart center. And then you'll twist. Right knee outside of left elbow. Push down through all four corners of the front foot. Really use the elbow outside your leg for leverage. Inhale, you're reaching up through the spine. Exhale, you're twisting. Twisting is very detoxifying. Send that breath to the hips, shoulders, anywhere you're feeling extra tension right now. Inhale, frame your hands around your foot and then start to straighten it backwards. Hips moving front and back, bending with the leg. Straighten, bending. And stay a minute, stay a beat or two. Left leg straight. Trying to keep your hips level. And bending. Bring your hands down. Left foot meets the right in downward dog. Let this downward dog feel good. You might notice some more openness in your back. And you walk your feet out, hips mat, beyond your hips to the mat's width. And then start to walk your hands back. And then you're going to drop down into Malasana, yogic squat. Ideally, your feet are parallel and forward and on the ground, but if that's not in your practice yet, that's okay. Your heels can come in as much as you need. You can fold your mat up if your heels don't touch the ground. And then ideally, you engage your root lock a little bit so you have a little buoyancy, so you're not completely resting down. Spine is straight, hands to heart center. This is a really nice hip stretch as well as low back. And then we're going to twist. Right arm reaches outside the right leg. Left arm reaches up. Try and shine that chest forward. If it's in your practice, you can wrap your left hand around your right thigh. You could even grab hands for a bind. Put right arm out, left arm up is also just perfect. Really try and stay grounded in both feet. Try not to lean more one way or another. And breathe. Bring your hands back to heart center. And we'll switch to the other side. Left hand outside left leg, right hand reaches up. Really cement down through this left foot as well as the right. Trying to keep your weight equally distributed. You can clasp behind for a bind. Or just keep your arms stretched out like wings. Bring your hands back to heart center. And then just fold over your legs. You can bring them in a little more, straighten them. Allow the blood to flow back. And then walk your hands back to downward dog. We're just going to lift the right leg and come into pigeon. So your front shin ideally aligns parallel to the front edge of the mat, but that might not be there yet. That's what you're shooting for. Left leg is back straight behind you, flat on the ground. If you need a blanket, you can put that under your opposite hip so it feels grounded. And once you elongate your spine, you can just fold over. You can think about sending breath into your hip. The right hip, we're working here. But it's a nice passive pose. So see what you can do to release anything, any stored emotions, energy. Just breathe and let gravity do its work. Inhale, start to come up. You can push your hands down, go back to downward dog. Give a little stretch. And then left leg reaches up. Shin comes through, parallel to the top edge of the mat. Back leg stretches long behind you. Inhale, reaching up. And just know that both of your sides can be very different. My left side's very tight. So just have a little patience and grace and come down when you want, when you're ready. If this doesn't feel good on your knees, you can always do reclined pigeon, figure four, so get in the same area, same stretch. If this feels good, go ahead and recline forward and breathe. Inhaling, lift yourself up. You can just swing your right leg around. Straighten both legs in front of you. Get on your sits bones. And just start to think about reaching your chest towards your toes. Arms reaching forward. Legs straight. Pushing them into the mat while you lengthen your spine, folding forward. And then inhale, lifting up. And then we're just going to slide back to Shavasana. You can let your feet just rest outward, laying flat on the mat. If you're open to receive, your hands can go up. If you would like more grounding, put your hands down. And then just let your body settle. Let it assimilate all the work you've just done, the opening, the strengthening, the stretching. Let your body just receive and relax. Shavasana. If you have more time to stay in Shavasana, I invite you to do that. And if you need to get going, go ahead and bring one knee and the other knee into the chest. Hold on, feeling your back on the ground, your knees in. And when you're ready, you just roll to one side. And you have a second before coming up. And slowly elevate, and we'll end how we began in Sukhasana. Easy cross-legged twist. And just feel the difference, taking a few moments for yourself, strengthening, stretching your body. Just see how that feels in the body. See how different you feel since when you began. I hope you can take that with you through your day. The light in me honors the light within you. Namaste.